Okay, so that was the Kissing Disease, Dead Lover, their most recently released track on Spotify.
Ooh.
Kissing Disease, welcome to the Talk Nola. Glad to have you finally on. How are you guys today?
I'm good.
Good to be here, yeah.
It's a great day.
So we are joined by
Maddie.
Spencer.
Dylan.
And Edmund.
Wonderful. So I wanted to ask you guys. Specifically Maddie. So this group, you're in another group back in St. Louis.
I am.
But here in New Orleans, you came here in 2021, okay? And you started the band. You came up to, it was Eddie and Spencer, correct?
Yes.
And you wanted to start the band, okay? So what inspired that process, and how come you approached them specifically?
Me and Eddie had done like a songwriting session together.
I totally forgot about that. You're
Yeah.
so right. We did do that.
Yeah, it was just like, I just want to get together with some people and like practice songwriting,
You're so right. We did do that.
And then you played like a couple of songs, and I was like, these are good. And then you were like, I'm working with this bassist.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, 2 for 1 special. That's awesome.
So what was the vision when you were first approaching?
Honestly, like, I didn't have much of a vision. I just really wanted a band and wanted to just get a group together and kind of see what became of it. Because up until then, I'd really only played like a few solo shows in college so far. And if I don't perform regularly, I start to like actually like go insane.
Understand.
So I was like, okay, guys, we gotta figure this out.
So initially, you first committed to NYU. That's been your dream school since you were 8 years old. What was... I told you how Nardwar you. What? So, I mean, obviously you're here in Loyola University in New Orleans. What was that process like?
It was weird. I spent a total of 2 weeks at New York University. And it just wasn't the right fit, I guess. It was very focused on being a good performer and nothing else. And I know that with like the way the music industry is today, if you don't have like a connection or daddy's money or whatever, like you gotta know the business. You gotta be able to work your way around a DAW. You gotta be able to kind of do it all. And I don't think that was really the plan that NYU was forming for me. And so this program is a lot more like all-encompassing. So
Did you already know people from Loyola? Is that why that transition was easy? Because, how did you even find out about Loyola from NYU?
Yeah, my godbrother went here for music education about 10 years ago. And he knows a couple of people that teach in the PopCom program now. And my best friend since literally preschool also came down here. And when I was talking to her, because when I came back from NYU, she was back home because of Hurricane Ida. And so we got to like see each other, and she was like, yeah, there's like a program like that at Loyola. You should like look it up and check it out. And I was like, okay. And then my godbrother kind of asked around, being like, oh, do you think she would like it down here? And they were like, yeah, tell her to like come audition. And I did.
So about the band, Spencer, it was you that came up with the name, The Kissing Disease. How did that come about?
Well, I don't know if it was me. It's like one of those things that happened so fast. But basically, I remember the first time we got together. It was one of the first times I really met Maddie in like a actual sense. Like we had class together, but it's like because Edmund brought me on because Edmund and I had been like playing music together a little bit, like doing open mics and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we came together and we're just kind of playing ideas around with each other. And we're like, we're coming up with a band name, and like I've always hated coming up with names.
It's
it's
this is
the worst. It's
so
the
hard,
worst
man.
part.
It's really
It's just like
rough.
I don't know. Like, so I always just kind of like say jokes, and Edmund had mono that week, and COVID at the same time actually, and
God.
From my memory at least, I was just like, oh, like what about like the kissing disease? Because like mono, and everyone was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, really? And it just kind of stuck, I guess. But
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie, like the start of like the kissing disease, like I was literally at like one of the lowest points in my entire life, and I'm very glad that this band was created. So yeah.
Really? So fresh from Houston. So
Yeah.
you're coming in as a freshman from Houston. What was so? I mean, if it's not too personal, what was really going on?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just had like, I had this like long distance relationship that like wasn't working out, and I just got really sick, and like everything just kind of like came crashing down, and like I don't know, we all met together and we started writing or playing music together, and it just kind of like took me out of it. It was really fun.
Wow, well that's great. And Dylan, can you tell me a little bit about Swing Gives You Wings?
Bro, why do you know about that?
I don't even know.
I don't know what
How
that
did
is.
you find
Can you
out
tell me a
about
little
this?
bit about that?
Okay, so Swing Gives You Wings was like the first or second band that I had ever been in. That's actually blowing my mind, the fact that you just brought that up to me. That's crazy. You did your research. So Swing Gives You Wings was a jazz combo that my friends and I started in our sophomore year of high school. And our whole purpose was our school, they would let you make a club, but any money you made as that club would go back to donate to the school. And we were like, no. We're going to make a bunch of money performing as this jazz combo, and we're going to give it to the American Cancer Association.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, that's
you
awesome.
raised over
3,000.
1,500 from what I saw, but you're saying...
Yeah.
What?
Well, we got, probably other, like, investments, like, from our parents and stuff. Oh, whoops. My bad, I forget there's a
away,
microphone here. I'm scared, man. No, but, like, with, like, parent donations, we got, like, 2,500 or 3,000. But in total, we did get, like, from gigging, 1,500 around there.
That's
and
awesome.
then the funny thing about it was the school tried to take all of that money and put it towards the school ice cream fund.
That's insane. That
And
is
we had
insanity.
to have my tenor sax, his dad, his name was also Dylan. His father put it into an offshore account in Sweden.
That's so
Wall Street
The school
over here.
couldn't touch it, and the money just disappeared.
Should you admit to this?
crazy.
That's fine.
What?
Yeah, no, it's but yeah, that was the first band I was ever in. That was the first like real public gig I ever played. We played for 3 hours at a little bar called Clementine's. And yeah, I mean, it was great. I sucked at drums back then, but you know, that was.
I mean, the band had over 7 people. This is in San Francisco, California.
it was a little collective,
State high school. San Ramon?
Yeah,
Am I
San
getting that right?
Ramon, California. Yeah.
Was it very hard finding musicians in that area?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I knew all these guys because I was in the jazz program with them, and I went to, like, middle school with the majority of them. But finding people that were actually dedicated to all of this stuff, that was really hard. Like, you know, it's really tough to... it's funny, the parallel between, like, the kissing disease and Swing Gives You Wings, where with that, it would be hard to organize, like, one rehearsal every 2 weeks. But with the kissing disease, I can be like, hey, guys, I want to rehearse right now. And I want to rehearse right now. And we can just kind of do it, plan 2 or 3 in a week if we need to, which we don't really need to. But it was really hard to find, not that they weren't capable. Everyone there was capable, but people who were actually dedicated to, like, doing the music and everything like that. I mean, like, we're playing Autumn Leaves, you know, like it's nothing, it's nothing super complicated or anything, but like, it was wow, that's so weird that you know Swing Gives You Wings. That really took me by surprise.
High school bands. Dude.
High school
Oh
bands.
man, tell me about it. So Dylan, you joined the band later in the formation. Okay, so you're actually pretty recently joined.
I'm in the past year.
Yeah.
We're coming on a year now.
What drew you into the Kissing Disease, and how do you feel you added or changed the band's sound and groove and dynamic and chemistry?
Well, what drew me into the Kissing Disease was I really like Edmund's guitar parts. He's like the George Harrison of this band. That guy can write some hooks.
Oh goodness.
You know, he can write some real hooks on the guitar. And, you know, he's my roommate now.
Right.
And we have we met in our ensemble freshman year. And, you know, he was like, oh, I really like this band, the Backseat Lovers. And I said, hey, I really like this band, the Backseat Lovers. And so we just kind of connected through that, and we have similar music tastes. And what I've introduced to the band is, you know, Edmund and Spencer and Maddie with her vocal parts, they all get very complex. Like it's very technical what they're doing, and or at least it sounds that way
sometimes.
And I decided I don't want to be very technical, and I don't want to be very complex. I'm going to play as straightforward as possible, just so that I can let them have the space. I'm just the rhythm, you know.
Right.
I'm just doing that. Me and Spencer can connect as long as my kick matches his bass.
Man, you say that, but I swear the drums on hands.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's
that's
a
just
standout.
all. It's all hi-hat texture, you know.
Right.
But it was this thing of like, you know, I want to introduce like the simplistic nature of everything back in, if that makes any sense. And so
Absolutely.
I don't know if I've changed like the vibe or the dynamic all that much. That would be for them to talk on. But I do know that I really like the feeling of playing with these people. And I really like the feeling of just like sometimes, you know, he'll be in our dorm and he'll craft this really cool guitar part, and I'll find myself like air drumming to it because I know what I want to do, you know, and it never has to be something that complex. But yeah, I think that, you know, it wasn't too hard to join this band. I like everyone in the band a lot.
Okay.
And when we're in a room together practicing, it just feels very freeing. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Eddie, I wanted to ask you.
Oh boy.
I found like, maybe was it like a personal website of yours? I don't know, but
Ooh, who knows?
But in the article within the website, you mentioned that playing Southport Hall for Make Music NOLA was a career highlight.
Oh my! I know exactly what
Yeah.
website you're talking about. That's for me doing guitar lessons.
What made that show so special?
Oh man, I think it was like it felt like one of the first like. It was just like a. I don't want to say like it felt like a real show, but it just felt like. It felt like it was such a big stage, and like there was like cool lights.
Okay.
And the lights were cool. And
was there something about the crowd?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of people that I really admire that were in the crowd. Like my professors, you know, like Kate Duncan. My guitar teacher was there, which was awesome, and Billy O'Connell was also there, and I respect them all so much. And
Ed Wise was there too.
Ed Wise was also there. I cannot forget Pop. And they all just like mean so much to me, and I respect them so much, and like what they've done, and the fact that they like want to pay it forward meant a lot. And to like play for a cause where you like, you know, teach underprivileged kids to give them like music lessons. I think like music has helped me a lot, like process my own stuff, and like to be able to like give that to children and other people is just paramount. It's invaluable.
Do you feel that show marked like a turning point or milestone for the Kissing Disease? Because I mean, many legendary acts have performed at that venue as well. You know, anyone jump in on it, but do you feel that there was a turning point after that show?
I think there definitely was, because I think we were able to take ourselves a little bit more seriously. Yeah. Like, I mean, we had some like decent gigs beforehand. I mean, not many. This was very early on in our like gigging career, because this was really the first semester where we even started playing shows, like actually.
Right.
And you know, this was kind of like the big one that kind of like was going to happen at the end of the semester, and like we knew about it for like months, and you know, we had so much time to like market for it and get really excited for it. And then I mean, the venue was super cool, you know, like seeing all like the legendary acts that like have played like in the green room and stuff.
I'd
like,
never been in a green room before.
Yeah,
like,
and it wasn't like a bad green room either. I mean, it was like really grimy and gross, but it was big, and they had beer for us. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I bought tickets to go see that show.
Really?
You guys played with Bag, right?
We
Yeah,
did.
I played with Bag.
Yeah.
So
I remember I watched Gabe up on that stage, and I was like, I want to be the drummer for this band.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was before you were even in the band. Wow.
Yeah.
No, that was the last show.
That was
we
the last
played
show, yeah.
Before Dylan was in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you guys like debuted. You sang on the mic.
Oh,
and it was so
yeah.
bad you couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
man.
good. That was
You
great.
sounded angelic, but
You did, yeah. No, you sounded angelic. Just we couldn't hear you.
So y'all's first time playing at French Quarter Fest.
Oh boy.
What was that moment like stepping onto the Esplanade at the Shade stage?
Oh, y'all are all looking at me. I don't know. It was really fun. It was, I don't know. The whole thing was handled very professionally. I felt like we got that really like professional, like you are playing a festival experience of like getting to go backstage, and they're like, "Do you guys want drinks? We have like coolers with drinks." And I was like, "Yes." And you know, getting to like talk with the sound person, and they're like, "We're here for you." Instead
They
of
were super
like,
nice.
yeah, everyone was just like super nice and super professional. And it was really cool to just have people that weren't necessarily like aware of us
Right.
hear our stuff. And it was really cool to see like as we were playing, people like walking past like turn their heads and like watch or like decide to come in and stuff like that, and see like the audience go from like a few people to like more people by the end of our set. That was really fun to see.
Do you remember that YouTube video?
Yo, I was
the
just
lady
about
made
to
of us.
Oh,
She
yeah.
filmed us all at French
Yeah,
Quarter
we
Yeah.
found this video on YouTube where this just like a random attendant of French Quarter Fest, she took a video of us. And like on her YouTube channel, like I think she's like an Uber driver or something like
Yeah.
that.
She's like a blogger too.
Yeah,
she
Uber
she like
blogger.
she like
I remember
vlogs
that.
her like Uber trips, and then there's just like she did like the kissing disease at French Quarter Fest, and we're just like, wow, we're getting real recognition now.
I remember for French Quarter Fest, I was like borderline panic attack because the past 2 or 3 gigs we had done, they were all outdoors, and it was getting towards springtime,
That's true.
and my hands would start sweating.
Right.
And this was before I'd keep an extra pair of sticks with me on stage. And like the past 2 or 3 gigs we had done before, my sticks just flew out of my hands mid-set. And I think it happened at French Quarter Fest too. And I just had to grab another pair and like keep
Oh my
playing.
gosh.
So
But it
for-
was, yeah, it was fun.
For like an up and coming beginner drummer that wants to ultimately, you know, play at festivals, what do you feel would be some useful tips that could really help them out?
Keep a hand towel
Oh,
on
yeah.
you for sweat. Always have 2 or 3 pairs of extra sticks and make sure they're within grabbing distance, and practice your rudiments, because I didn't. And I got to pay the price because of it. But yeah, just practice, and make sure that you're prepared for anything that can go wrong, because it will go wrong. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Look up and have fun, I would say.
Yeah. Have a good time.
Oh yeah. Have fun, most definitely.
Honestly, that
That's
was
the
one
most
of my
important.
favorite sets we ever played.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you know, we had like the awesome like gear behind us. Like, did you plug into the twin reverb that they had up there?
I did. You had
Yeah.
the freaking like refrigerator box.
I had like
amp
the 8x10
thing.
amp peg. Like I was we felt cool up there. It's like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
a real band, and I felt cool. So.
Was this your equipment or
No.
okay.
That was the equipment they had.
That's pretty
there.
cool. So
It was
do you
just-
feel that
yeah.
there's perks to being a festival playing band?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, as Maddie was saying, like they have like drinks for us and little snacks and stuff like in the back, and then everyone just kind of treats you like really nice. They're all very professional, and you get to use really cool gear, and they make you sound good. It's not like some crappy bar venue. No shade to anyone in particular, but like where like the sound is kind of set and then forgotten about. But like at this one, they really put care into making sure that we sounded good, and we did. So.
Yeah.
Were there any unexpected moments during the show? Whether it's with the set list or with any crowd interaction, or on stage interaction.
I remember that one guy who was like, "Hey, can I get a picture of you?" And then we all crowded into the
Oh, I remember
God.
that.
Yeah, there was this like older gentleman that came up like after we played, while we were backstage, like as we were like talking. I think we were talking to your mom, Dylan.
Mm-hmm. It was my mom and my dad.
Yeah,
And Jacques was there too.
Oh,
this
I love Jacques.
like
Shout out
yeah,
Jacques.
he came up to us and to me directly and was like, "Can I get a picture of you?" And it was very strange. And
Well, hold on. So was it just of you with no one else? Like he wasn't in the
Yeah.
picture.
yes, and it wasn't like with you. It was of you, and I was like, okay,
It's like
slay.
bird watching and take pictures of birds.
Yeah, and then luckily, like one of y'all noticed that
Yeah,
it
like-
was
Yeah.
kind of
no,
an
Edmund
odd.
and I like jumped in. He's like,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you
then
guys
he
can
said,
come in
yeah,
too.
he said, oh, and the rest of them, I guess. Like he was so
God.
mad. I was like, oh.
Oh, that was great.
Do you have like admirers after show, like crush admirers? Has anyone like approached you guys after a show?
I think I can speak for me and Spencer when I say that we're the drummer and bassist. So no. The
No,
answer is
I have
no
heard.
for us.
I have been told that people think our bassist is really cool.
well, that's.
I think our
nice to
bass
hear.
is pretty
no
cute.
No one ever told me this.
Right?
Yeah.
I never heard about this.
So WWL gave you guys some spotlight during French Quarter Fest. How did it feel getting that kind of exposure so early in your career?
Oh my gosh, that was such a crazy day.
That was crazy.
We had to be there at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like the tiny little clips of us like playing.
Yeah, because it was a very stripped down set.
Yeah.
You were on a
I
cajon, weren't you, Dylan?
Yeah, the cajon.
Yeah, you were on the cajon.
I had a cajon, and it was we borrowed it from Kate Duncan.
Shout out, Kate,
And it
shout
was,
out Kate Duncan.
It was my first time ever playing a cajon,
You had the tiny
and
little bass.
I
Oh,
had
you played it wrong.
I played it wrong.
Well, it was on the opposite side,
Yeah,
right?
I played
I
it
remember
backwards. I looked like an idiot up there, but it was really funny. It was really good.
And I had like the stupid little ukulele bass.
Yeah,
like,
you had
with
the
the rubber
bass.
strings, like because we were told it's supposed to be like an acoustic set, and we're like, well,
Okay.
like what the hell are me and Dylan gonna do?
Yeah.
So that's what we came up with.
Yeah. Dude, I think what happened, how did we, so we got that like, I think like maybe like 2 days before there was like,
it was one day
oh,
before, and it was
Hey,
we
that, like,
found
It was
out
during tips.
during the Uptown Throwdown, and that also is like a very late night.
I remember, you're so right. I
And
remember
so
that.
they let us go home early because they're like, y'all need to be there at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And since it was, like with the school, they were able to be like, okay, yeah, no, y'all can go. But I mean, my voice usually after tips is like shot. So I think each time we played while on TV, my voice was like more human. I don't know if I started out sounding completely human.
There was one really cool part about that for me. I don't know if you guys had something similar, but after we got off the news, I think it was like maybe around noon 30, around there.
Right.
I went to the OR
Oh, yeah.
to go grab myself some lunch, and I was swiping in my ID, and she's like, hey, baby, how you doing this morning? I was like, I'm great. And she said, I saw you on the news this morning. And I said,
yeah.
what? And I was like, wait, this feels really cool. This is awesome.
I
So
had
that was cool.
several people say they saw us on the news in the
It's
morning.
like, I didn't know people watched the news. So
Yeah.
They
That's
were
the
all
coolest thing ever.
older people,
Oh, yeah.
because who else is up then? But
This might be weird. Tell me if y'all remember this, but like when we were there, like, and like TV is weird because like it's just like go, and then like it's like chill, and then it's like go again. But in the meantime, I think there were like these two birds that were like on a pillar.
Oh my God, yes. And
they were doing a special
doing the
dance.
dirty.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
two birds
it was really It was really
It was
loud.
Really loud.
It was really and
really
like
They're like seagulls, I
distracting.
think.
yeah, and everyone was just like the crew was like looking back. I was like, what is that noise? And we were just like, are these two birds like?
I remember that.
I
yeah.
still have a video of that.
The other really good part of that was, I don't know if it was your mom or your mom, but one of them like took a video of them
yeah.
discovering us on the news, and it's just like the worst, lowest quality video. And they
Just
come
so
up and they put it
crunchy.
up to their TV, and you like can't even understand what Maddie's saying because it's so compressed.
I love a good.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Now, if someone hold on, I think I just lost my mic connection here. Hold on, let me plug myself back in.
Oh, you're good.
Hello. Okay, I'm back. All right. If someone walks into a Kissing Disease show, having never heard of you before, what's the one thing you want them to walk away feeling?
Stumped us.
I mean, the best compliment that I ever got at a show was, do you remember when we did a Howling Wolf and Robin and Matt came up to us and they were like, man, you guys make me want to go home and practice?
Yeah. Like,
That's what I
really-
want people to take away. Oh wait, I can do this.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, like-
Yeah.
Or I want people, I guess, to feel enjoyment, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
to-
For the,
What
like,
are you talking about?
to not like regret seeing us.
Yeah.
I think I want people to like, I guess like feel seen or heard. I know
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna be,
want
like,
people to
cheesy, but-
feel something, because I've had people say like, "Oh, I was jamming the entire time,"
Right.
and people that like, don't really focus on the lyrics, but also I've had people that are like super big, into like listening to the lyrics at shows and stuff like that, be like, "Oh yeah, I was listening to this song and like it brought a tear to my eye," because
Wow.
I don't necessarily like need everyone to come out feeling like, yes, that made me feel so good, because a lot of our songs are like very deeply sad. But as long as y'all feel something, that's kind of
or like less alone, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, what's that songwriting process like? You guys get in a room and bang things out together? Does someone present something in a rehearsal? Maddie, do you write lyrics and the band tries to add on to that? What's that like?
It's been a mixed bag so far. Cause Dead Lover was like originally
Yeah.
Edmund's song.
I just kind of brought it in.
And then I've had some songs that were like pretty much finished that I just brought in, and I was like, can y'all like add your parts to this? And then we've had songs where we've pretty much started like from the very top of just figuring it all out together, or be like, oh, I have this like single riff, let's like turn it into something.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think there's like a definitive process, and I don't think there needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always felt very naturally. I don't feel like we've forced any thing that we've written. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I can't write if I don't have anything to say, which
Wow.
I have a lot to say, so I don't really have a hard time with that. But I'm not gonna just like write lyrics to write lyrics, or write lyrics that I don't really care about, or write about something that I don't feel like some kind of connection to. It doesn't have to necessarily be like personal experience, but at least capturing like some kind of feeling.
What song have y'all been most proud of instrumentally and creatively? Is there a standout song for you guys?
I can think of a couple. I think like the go-to one would be like there's a song called Hands, which is going to be on our EP that we'll be releasing soon, hopefully. But we all just kind of like, I don't know, I came up with this like riff thing because I was trying to like work out with like delay pedals and stuff, but and then I like brought it to the band, and we all like eventually like added our own thing, and I like you know, just giving something and seeing like kind of like what turns out. And then like my other favorite one was honestly when like Dylan made the guitar part, and I just kind of built off of that.
Oh, for maybe.
Yeah, for maybe. I really liked making that song with you.
Yeah.
Hands was very magical for me because the like chorus progression fit perfectly with this like chorus that I had written already.
Oh,
and
right. Yeah,
I had this
yeah.
song and I really wanted to do something with it, but I didn't really know what to do for the verses. I was like, I have this chorus, it has to be for something, and it was like perfectly in the key with like this same progression. So that was like, that felt very magical. Like that song was like meant to happen in the universe. And it's a very like cathartic song because it's about like a really hard night of my life. So it's like, I don't know, that song is very important, I think, for like all of us as a band.
I think that's the song
it has
where
moments
we all
for all
serve.
of us.
We all serve on that song.
Well, and
We
also
all
that was,
serve.
I think, for me with Hands, that was like my first or second rehearsal ever with the band. And it was so cool to see that all come together. My drum part didn't sound the same when we first made it, but it still sounded pretty cool. But it was so cool to see like you two connect, and then the other one was like Bitter Water, where you like had like the story written, and then I think you just sat down. What was the song where you just sat down while we were playing and you just wrote all of the lyrics right then and there in the rehearsal room?
I think
that was cool.
Bitter Water was like, it was. I think I had like a few lines in, you know, some kind of notes app note.
Oh yeah.
And then was like, okay, this kind of fits the vibe, and then just like pounded it out in like 15, 20 minutes. And that, I'm really proud of those lyrics. It's not like they're like nothing lyrics. Each line means something. So I'm very, that also felt like some kind of like divine intervention where I just like got overtaken and I was like,
Wow. Well, I'd love to get some perspective for any advice that you guys might have, a well-developed band in college, for any up-and-coming other up-and-coming bands that are a little earlier in their careers. So what mistakes did you make early on in your musical career that you wish someone had warned you about?
I don't really feel like we're like super like
bands. I still feel like a baby.
Yeah.
I was in past bands that I've been in, whether it was through me feeling self-conscious about my own ability or whatever possible anxiety, I became much too critical of myself, and that ended up projecting onto other people. And if you can just come into a room and be really happy and really positive and let all of that, any of that stress, any of that negativity, just embrace it and say, I'm going to take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. These are really cool people that I'm with, and we sound good, and we're going to make something cool. If you can just accept that and accept yourself for who you are, everyone else in the band will follow suit, and it makes everything a whole lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell myself, even like outside of band stuff, but even just going to like music school in general, every time I like don't want to get up and take myself to a class or take myself to a lesson or take myself to a gig, because especially like when you're developing and you start playing regularly, it can be very tiring. And like I have some chronic health issues. It can, really like wear me down. So I always am just like, okay, like you are getting to do like the thing that you like to do the most in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
there's nothing
all
better.
day. It's you don't have to go to math class. You don't have to like go do a lab with people you don't like. You just like get to go play music with your friends. It's not that deep. Like, take yourself seriously, but I think there is a balance of taking yourself seriously and treating it like a business, and also being like, this is my favorite thing to do in the world. Like,
Right.
Stop complaining.
I think there's like, I don't know, there's so much stress around like everything around like being a band and like how to figure that out. But like every time I think about it, like in the weirdest way, like the one thing that I can control is like me playing on stage, which I think if you told me like when I was younger, I would have like completely blown you off and be like, what are you talking about? Playing on stage is super scary. And like it still is, but like I don't know, it's just like the one thing that I feel like I can control, like relative to a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in terms of like managing your time, between classes and y'all's conflicting schedules and gigs and rehearsals, what's your process of making everything work to maintain being a working band?
Google Calendar.
Ooh.
Google
Yeah, that-
Heavy on
Calendar.
Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Having-
that's one we're just starting to get good at.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just started that. Yeah.
I think having like a set meeting time
Mhm.
every
Yeah.
week has really helped us.
Not even like rehearsal, just set meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
What would
We
you
are all
What would you discuss in a meeting that is not producing music or making music?
Business,
social media.
so social media, like
Yeah.
our plans, our ideas for like what we are trying to do, like and how we're gonna make those come, how we're gonna
to
make
fruition.
to come to fruition. That was what I was looking for.
Yes.
Thank you, Maddie. But yeah, I feel like with a band, it's like 5% playing music. Like if you want to make it actually a business, and then 95% figuring out how to get people to listen to that music.
I completely agree with you.
So that's mostly what our meetings are about. It's just kind of putting ourselves more and more forward.
Yeah.
Well, balancing artistry with the business side of music, what is something about, any business tips that you feel like every band should know?
Keep track of your finances.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
I have never like kept track of our business stuff in any other band that I've been in as well as we have, and this is mostly due to Edmund because he's big into that.
So
But
on the business side, what are y'all's like specific roles?
Well, I can break
Video
it down
man.
from my perspective. Spencer is video man.
Video man.
Maddie is organization and planning and communication. Yeah, you're the one who like hits up all the
Hits
other
up
bands.
people.
Like, hey guys.
Edmund does everything else: accounting, money, just anything along those ends. And then I'm here. I do. Sometimes I'll do social media, but I'm just the drummer. I'm a
Dylan,
kid, man.
you're the moral support.
But it's very
I
helpful
need
to like
body
have
doubling, yeah.
someone that like, if you're like, oh my God, I have like way too much going on. Dylan, please, can you like help me with this? Like, can you do this thing? And
Yeah.
you don't have like, if you ask someone that has like a billion other responsibilities, it's like, oh my God, no, I'm not going to do this for you. But if you like have someone that's kind of just like always like waiting for something, it's kind of nice.
I'm the backup.
You're not the backup. You're the understudy.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're the
that's even
swing.
cooler.
The swing. Hell yeah.
I don't know. For me, like body doubling is super, super important. Like I work a lot better if I have like someone there to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Yeah. I work
Necessary.
better alone. So sometimes I'm like, okay, good to see you guys. I'm going to go into my cave and like do the things that I need to do.
I mean, I feel like a lot of local bands really just they think the music will solve everything. You know, they don't put any effort into the business side of it or reaching out and trying managing. And I feel like we would see a lot more popular bands if there was more of that. Because I've been in like so many bands where the musicians are just like, trust me, bro. If the music's good, everything will come along.
And it never pans out.
It's not that simple.
No.
Not anymore.
No, it used to be, but that was back when it was like pay to play.
Exactly. Yeah.
It still is.
Well, in some cases, it's pay to play, but yeah.
Honestly, like I know people talk about this, but like get an LLC. Make sure all your money is centralized.
Wanted to ask
in
you
one
about
area.
that.
Yeah.
Because while I was doing my research, I saw the Kissing Disease LLC, and I was really curious to see the thought process behind it and whose idea it was, and why you found that to be so important.
It was really stressful to like figure out like who had what money from shows when we were like trying to like make a music video or something. Like like I was like, okay, like at one point I was like, how much do we have in like the bank of Maddie? And I don't know, I say that like we're making a lot of money, but we're definitely not. But like like who has like $20 and who has like 50.
So y'all are really doing this on a minimal budget.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, everything that we make pretty much goes back into the
we've
band
not
at this
like
point.
personally we've not made a dime.
I have never made money from any Kissing Disease show while I've been the drummer.
We got
the
like-
only time I got paid was when I was subbing in.
Didn't
for
we
the
do
last
like
drummer.
80 something cents that one time?
Yeah,
Because we
no,
had
we each got 25 cents.
25
That's what it
cents,
was.
yeah.
And this is something that y'all have to collectively like be okay with,
Right,
and there's that
Yeah.
understanding.
And I think we are like in a privileged position to where we don't have to be like constantly on the grind, like trying to make money to live. I have a lot of good support at home, so I'm like grateful for that we can like take that money and not have to use it to like feed ourselves, and we can like put it back into
we would starve.
stuff. We would starve. we
I
would
am
be very
the-
hungry.
I am the only employed member of the Kissing Disease. The only one here with a job.
I mean, man, how are you managing that class and the Kissing Disease?
I try. I don't really have much else to say. We'll have a gig on Friday night, and I'll get off work at Thursday night at like 5 a.m, and I'll just say, I guess Red Bull will fuel me through this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
you just gotta accept it and go, okay, I can do this, because you can. It's just playing the drums, just hanging out with your friends, playing music. Yeah.
Do you feel like essentially to the root of it, is that what this is to you? Just playing drums and hanging out with your friend?
Yes.
Is it as simple as that for anyone?
Yes. And every time I overcomplicate it is when things in my mind start to go awry. And that's when I have to meet back with my great roommate, Edmund, here and say, Edmund, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm super stressed. And he'll go, it's not that big a deal. Just hang out. Let's go make a song. It'll make you feel better, Yeah.
And when you guys are writing, how do you all manage, I imagine conflicting ideas come about, or is there any instances where, temperatures arise within the group and someone's blood may boil? Has that happened even yet?
I think, yeah, like I think like, when you have different ideas, like I think you can feel like super headstrong in a certain way. Something that's really like worked for me is to not, just remember like we all just feel strongly about how like a certain thing should go, and like that doesn't necessarily mean that your idea is bad. People just haven't like seen like where you're coming from, and like when you're doing that, it's really important to use like affirming language, like in a songwriting session or just like in general, of like not being like not like. I don't know, this is like lame, nerdy Star Wars thing, but like only a Sith deals in absolutes. And I'm just like, if, like you gotta, like if you use that absolute language of like, always or like never, like you just kind of isolate yourself and the other person. And it's important to just like see the nuance in things.
Yeah.
Were you at Chewbacca's on Sunday?
Actually, I was.
I was there too.
I was too.
It was really
Oh my
cool.
God.
I think I was the only
Yeah.
one who wasn't there.
Oh.
You were there too, Spencer?
It
What did y'all think of the experience?
was great. It was my first time going. In 3 years living here, I was really happy to see.
Yeah, I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
I liked seeing Kate Duncan as
I-
a glowing hammerhead shark.
Bro, no, we were walking up as the Sharknado
Aw.
crew was like
Flew by.
passing.
Oh.
Like I think we
Oh,
saw
man.
maybe half of it, but I didn't want to be like that guy that like is like pushing my way, being like, ah! But so yeah, I didn't see her.
There was also you know have y'all seen What We Do in the Shadows, like the TV show?
Yeah,
vampire
Colin
show?
Robinson.
Yes, he was
bro.
there. He was
Yeah.
there, and I looked and I
What?
did a double take, and I was like, wait, is that?
Did he steal your energy?
No, I guess that was Elon Musk. There was like an energy vampires for Elon Musk.
Oh
I was like,
my god, that's so
that's
funny.
based.
Okay, so going back to the music of it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Your, your
Yes.
music touches on everything from heartbreak to feminist history. What's
Oh,
a
yes.
song in your catalog that you think best defines who you are as a band?
Not to glaze hands, but hands.
We've
is-
been glazing hands this
Like-
entire episode.
I think that's all of our like favorite one
Yeah.
to do.
I
That's
think
why we
we-
like closing on it.
Whoa. Flower to Dry is my favorite song.
Well,
by
it's
the Kissing
because-
Disease by far.
Yeah, it's because you wrote like a complicated part for hands.
I did. I wrote a really cool part for Hands. Yeah. But yeah. No, Hands is the Kissing Disease song.
Yeah, I
of
think
all time.
we all have spots to show off.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of good instrumental work. I'm proud of the lyrics. I'm proud of my vocal performance. It's really fun to perform. I get to wiggle and like
Always
look
a good
really
thing.
weird. And yeah, I don't know. It's I get to kind of live my like David Byrne fantasy, and that's
Ah.
really fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think-
Talking Heads.
Yeah.
You know,
I
good
think
band.
my favorite part about Hands is that all of us can play that song on guitar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, all of us can
That's
play
nice.
it.
I have never attempted.
It's
but-
dude,
but-
it'll take
You
you
could.
5 minutes.
It's
Not
the
even.
easiest thing
It's just an
ever.
octave.
The delay pedal does most of the work. In
Yeah.
that, that's for sure.
But like honestly, I really like the guitar part because like I think sometimes I've been stressed out about like how do I fill up all this space like as only like one guitarist, and I think having those effects helps me like fill up the sound a bit more and makes me feel good about my instrument.
yeah.
So, in terms of the lyrics, lyrically, your songs are described as intense and poetic. Who are your biggest inspirations when it comes to songwriting?
I just recently had to think about this because I had to write a bio for myself. I think, like, I really love just people that are like super intense with it. I love Mitski. I love Fiona Apple. But I also love the like really theatrical people. Like I love like 70s glam rockers, like Queen, David Bowie, all of those people. And like low key, like looking to pop music for like a good rhyme scheme or just like a way to get people's attention. I think Lady Gaga's lyricism is really underrated.
Lady Gaga.
Is there like a formula that she follows or something?
No. I just think she's just like a really good lyricist. Her lyrics are very smart, but they're also understandable. Like, I do really like the choruses tend to be like very memorable and very like that's like kind of the thesis of the song. And then the verses have like these kind of really weird like references, and sometimes like you don't even really know what she's saying until you look up the lyrics. And I guess I follow like a similar formula. Like I want the chorus to be very easily understandable. Like you're like, okay, I get it now. And then the verses you can like do a lot more with.
Okay.
You can play around with it.
I mean, if you could pick a single lyric from your songs that mean the most to you or that you put the most thought into, and they mean the most to you personally, what do you think it would be and why? Are you all able to even kind of hear what she's saying when you're playing live?
Yeah.
It depends.
Not
Because I
even,
know a lot
like-
of bands have a
depends on
real
the
problem
setup.
with hearing the singer.
That is a big problem. I actually have a big problem hearing Edmund too. But like, you just have to hope there's a good sound person and there's good like wedges that you can actually
Yeah.
At least until we
adjust.
get in-ears or something.
Until we get in-ears, yeah. But
I do like to test them sometimes and be like, what is this song about, guys?
I remember we were tracking our EP last semester, and I think we were recording either Hysterical or Bitter Water.
It was
And I
hysterical.
started singing the lyrics to
I
Edmund and
do.
Spencer,
I have a
and
video
Maddie
of
just
it.
said, "Dylan, I love how those aren't." So I was just singing straight gibberish. It's just all I can hear through my earplugs. All I need to hear is Spencer, and I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, but going back to the question though. So
Yeah.
single lyric from your song that means the most to you personally, what would it be and why?
Shoot. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Do any of you have one? Give me some time. I'm like the keeper of the lyrics.
I really like that bridge to Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very
Talking about
personal,
crashing
and
out.
I can relate to it a lot.
Yeah.
So what is that bridge saying? What are the lyrics for that bridge?
Okay, so the song's kind of about like feeling insane in this late stage capitalistic world that we live in. Yeah. And it's talking about like what we're like, I don't know, kind of like just going insane in it. And the lyrics are like, or maybe I will crash my car, or maybe I will start a war, or maybe I will pray for peace, or become a tyrant. I will lead with ease.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, guys. Really deep.
How long did it take to write that, or did it just kind of did it flow?
Maybe was
quick.
really fast too. That was also one where like y'all just kind of played it and I wrote to it for a few minutes
I
and
think we
kind
were
of
in 237.
yeah.
And you got
And
the
I
hang of the
kind of
guitar
just like
part.
figured it
Yeah.
out. I think that was again where I had like a line or two and then just like built off of that. I'm trying to think of like my favorite lyric. I think like hysterical for me is very personal. It's just about like the way like women's mental health has been handled throughout the years, and there's like kind of slight references to like different figures and stuff like that. I think the second verse of saying she planned out her death to make it easy on her husband.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want to take up space. Or wait, she wouldn't want to take up space. Oh God! Oh my God! I'm forgetting the lyrics titles. Wouldn't want to take up space or garner much attention.
That reminds me of like, I really hope I don't mess this up. Is it Sylvia Plath? It was like the oven, and then like, there was like this one like,
Yeah, Sylvia Plath.
like head in the oven, and then like plastic or something, or like something to like cover the doors to like protect her children. Sorry, that was like super morbid. But
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it is like kind of a known fact that the way that women commit suicide is tends to be a lot like less messy. They tend to go for things that kind of make it less of like a burden upon everyone else.
Right.
And I like learned that and was like, oh, this is like really messed up.
That's
But
horrible.
Even in like their last moment, they're thinking about like, oh God, I don't want to be like a burden upon everyone else. It's like, oh.
Why do you think that is, though? I mean, because this study was in comparison to men, who obviously do want to be a burden on everyone else.
I don't know, maybe more empathy. Or
I
something.
think, I mean, I just think it's more of like a, you
Oh,
know,
this is horrible.
they feel bad for the person that's going to have to clean up, and you know who's probably going to have to clean it up is another woman. You know, it's
Oh.
like men, I think, don't always think about like the mess that they're making, whether it's like a literal mess or like a figurative one, just because there tends to be like less consequences. blah.
It might be too early to tell, since y'all are so, young in your career. But what do you hope the kissing disease stands for in the long run?
I don't know. I mean, getting kind of following the train of thought, I want to be like a woman in a rock band that people can look up to. There's not many, and especially like, I've heard like pretty much every single one, like been compared to every single one. I have dyed hair.
Exactly what you mean.
Immediately people are like, oh, it's like Paramore. And it's kind of, it sucks that people's, reference points are so limited. The fact that, out of however many years of pop music, I'll just put it at like, say like the last like 50 years of pop music, people can only come up with like a handful of examples of like a woman leading a rock band. I've had a music teacher say, I just really don't think like women should lead rock bands. I don't think they have it in them. So I wanna prove people wrong. Sometimes you gotta work out of spite.
So do you feel that sexism and misogyny is a leading factor in the music industry traditionally?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I ever since I've played music, I've experienced it. From being called like my band back in St. Louis, Chainsaw Boys. It's all women and then one male drummer. And one of our first gigs, they made a joke about like, oh, are you his groupies? Oh, yeah. And we were all like half of us were still underage at that point. Wow. Like it was still really it's a really weird comment to make. There's been multiple times with this band where like they are spoken to. Mm-hmm. Even there's been points where like they talk to my boyfriend before they will like talk to me, like he's in the band. Or like the like door guy like starts putting like wristbands on all of them and doesn't attempt to like put one on me.
That's happened like 4 times.
That's happened several times. Like, or like they asked like,
amount.
"Oh, are you with the band?" And I'm like, "No, dog. I am in the band." Wow. Like it. Yeah. No, I'm. You just saw me do a sound check. Like, are you stupid?
I think we've had like your face on a poster once.
Dude, I think we've walked in like with our shirts with like your face on the shirt, and they'll be like,
"Are you
with the band?" And all of us just have wristbands immediately, and they go up to Maddie and they're like,
"You're the muse."
You're the
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something so horrible to deal with. So I know you were talking about, creating out of spite earlier. Do you feel like the way you get treated harnesses creative energy, that you won't normally get?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean...
You feel it gives you something more to write about?
Yeah.
Talk about, speak on?
I have always been kind of... I always say, like, because growing up, my mom was the one that went to work. And I didn't know about the existence of misogyny until, like, probably a lot later in life than, like, a lot of people. And I always, like, had the idea in my head that, like, yeah, I can, like, do whatever a man can do, obviously. Like, why wouldn't I be able to? So it's... I don't know. I don't want... I don't want to, like... It's so hard to, like, put into words because there's a lot of, artists in the past that have been labeled the, like, angry woman stereotype or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, I think they have a right to be angry. And why is, like, this woman writing, like, an angry breakup song, like, too forward when, like, men have been writing terrible breakup songs for years? leading
decades,
up to that.
man.
You know,
Literally forever.
like literally
Yeah.
forever.
I guess like something we want to do is manage just like create a space where like people are allowed to feel like any of the emotions that they're allowed to feel. I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel is different about writing with the Kissing Disease and the Chainsaw Boys, Maddie?
I mean, like the Chainsaw Boys is like we're a punk band.
Right.
We're really not focused on like the technicality of anything. And that can be like a lot of fun. There's like no rules. I do a lot more just like yelling, screaming, cussing at people. But there's a lot more of like a technical side with this band. And I mean, it's just two different sides of my personality. And not even. I think there's like common threads between, you know, the songs of both groups. So, you know, it's a completely different group of people. It's going to be like a different vibe. It's going to feel different. But yeah, I mean, we write we write kind of slow. But I think that like allows us to get all of our parts like perfectly. It's kind of like this is baking. Like you have to have everything right, or else it is like gonna turn out really bad. And Chainsaw Boys is a little bit more of like throwing a bunch of shit in a wok and like just seeing if it tastes good. And it's just kind of like spicy and salty and you know, you're like, okay, cool. This is gonna make me feel terrible later, but this is awesome in the moment.
Do you guys currently have any tour plans in the works? Is that something that you guys are working towards?
Yes,
too?
We're working on for this summer. We're trying to get all our affairs in order to get that going. But.
Yeah.
What's that looking like? Where are you guys trying to play?
So we're thinking of starting in Atlanta, which is my hometown, and then starting in Athens, truly, because it's only about an hour away, and then going to Atlanta, and then going up to Tennessee to do like Nashville.
Yeah.
And then from there, we would continue on to St. Louis because that's where Maddie's from, and then kind of like hit the cities around there, like Chicago.
So our city plan right now is we're going to start at Atlanta, Georgia, then we're going to go to Athens, then we're going to go to Birmingham, Alabama,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
then Memphis, Tennessee, up to Nashville, then St. Louis, Missouri, Belleville, Illinois, Decatur, Illinois, and then Chicago.
Yeah.
So
And
sorry.
don't quote me on any of those. Or don't quote us on
All
any
of these are
those.
subject to change.
I think
But it's a 2-week planned tour. I think.
And
we're
is
gonna do.
this? Did you want to add something real quick?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's like our first tour. I think we're definitely learning as we're going.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited to be part of the process.
Yeah, it's kind of an experiment at this point, I think.
Will you be traveling, alone, or are you guys going to be billing with any other bands, or is this going to just be an exclusive Kissing Disease tour where you guys are headlining the shows?
Well, we're
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, it's going to be us traveling, and then whether or not we're going to be headlining, I think, is going to be subject to the city.
Right.
And depending on if we already, like, are established there. Because, like, St. Louis, like, I've been in the music scene for years, so that's going to be, like, way easier to get a show than, like, Memphis, where I've never spent more than, like, a few hours.
Yeah.
How did you guys map out the tour? Like, what made you choose those specific states and venues?
a painstaking 3-hour-long meeting.
Yeah.
So I did it.
I think for me, the way I thought about it is like, I think you always want to start your, like, at least from what I've heard, you always want to start your show like in like, an anchor city. There's like this term of like anchor cities of like, there's like, so you start off their first show and it's like, or it's Spencer's hometown. So like, that's going to be super cool. And like, we're going to get like a lot of support there. Mm-hmm. And then, kind of wrap up around St. Louis, where Maddie's from, and we also get a lot of support there as well. And I guess just having those anchor cities and then kind of just planning the way there is kind of how I thought about it, at least.
And Eddie, another question for you. As you guys know, touring is expensive. How do you all plan to navigate the financial side of hitting the road?
So, I mean, we've been saving up, from the shows we've been playing. We also, we got an advance from the student record label here.
Records, yeah. What is that, $500 that they give?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a shoestring budget tour for sure. I mean, I think we're definitely planning on staying at a lot of friends' houses, a lot of people's houses.
We'll probably go in the negative.
Yeah,
we're gonna be in the red. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
expect it.
and a lot of that
Tour.
is coming to terms
Necessary.
with that. We don't. I don't do it for the money. I kind of just we want to do it to just reach as many people as we can.
What do you feel a good startup budget for the first tour would be?
A good start.
For a budget, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your most expensive thing is going to be gas, period.
Or just transit in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure you have really, a car with, make sure you know the trade backs between having a really good mileage on your car, gas mileage, and then also remember that you have to carry people and carry equipment.
That's the big thing. Yeah. Rent a trailer, which will knock 5 miles a gallon off of your
So planning for that is really important. I'm thinking a lot of sunflower seed, peanut butter substitute jelly sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Things
yeah.
that are just gonna be happening.
I mean,
I'm
the
allergic
thing
to
about that, you're
peanuts.
going to have to, you're going to need energy for playing shows, and you're going to be traveling extensively over the course of 2 weeks. I mean, it's a bad situation if that's all the food that you're going to be relying on.
Canned food.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Canned
Yeah.
Bunch of
beans.
spam.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
spam and some hot dog
bumming
buns.
meals from friends and
Yeah.
cities might be
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
If we stay
Home.
with parents, we
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
pray to God that they
Cook for you
throw
guys,
some food at us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, mommy.
Um,
Can we have
Can you
food,
make
please?
me and my friends dinner, please?
I think also, just planning to put some of our own money in.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have
Yeah.
to. I really don't want it to have to come to that. I want to keep it, separate as possible, but
Oh, I fully
figuring
expect to.
Yeah.
Oh,
It'll
yeah. No,
probably
I
spend my
figured I
own
needed
money on
at least $1,000 saved up of my own money to
Yeah.
get us through that. Maybe.
Wow.
Worst case scenario. You gotta plan for whatever can go wrong.
Right.
Probably.
So
might
if
go wrong.
anyone wants to give me a graduation present of money,
So
I
actually,
will
we'll
be
have
accepting.
We'll have their Venmos attached.
My Venmo is.
So a 2-week tour with a self-supporting band with a student-run record label helping you guys out with $500. 2 weeks on the road, 5+ states. Is that right?
Just about. Yeah.
they're pretty.
Yeah, will be.
I mean, what's
Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Illinois.
realistically? What
Missouri.
are you looking at?
The drive time.
No, expense wise, are you looking to spend anywhere from $2 to $4 grand on a self? Wow, really?
I think that's,
Yeah.
Yes,
what
that's
we're kinda
accurate.
looking at,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Probably.
So fun.
Yeah. I think it's that time that we do it though. So
Yeah.
despite it is gonna wipe our finances, but I think it is for the greater good because we
it's
kind of need
worth
to.
it.
We need to get out of being stuck in the city of New Orleans.
Yeah.
'Cause it is a great city for, I think, a blossoming career, but the money is elsewhere.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it's I've heard New Orleans referred to as a playground for musicians a lot of the time. You can do kind of anything, you can really experiment. But I think we're ready to go from the playground and play with the big kids, I guess.
Where would you guys like to settle later in your career?
It's so hard.
I think it's I think you're obviously looking at the music hubs of the United States, like in LA or Nashville or like a New York.
New York.
New
Atlanta
York.
too could be great.
We're into like hip hop though.
There's a market. Faye Webster's from there.
Honestly, as someone from Atlanta, the scene for the stuff we do is not the
Not
greatest.
there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I think just taking a look at like whatever the best opportunities are, you know, and kind of going from there. You were gonna say something.
Oh yeah, and I mean things are subject to change. Nashville has grown from being like primarily country music to being just like a huge
Alternative,
hub for alternative music and singer songwriters.
Rock is
and
popping there right now.
in the last I'm not like a music historian, but I'll just say like within the last decade or so, and LA has had its fair share of struggles in recent times.
Yeah.
And people say, we don't know where like if it's sustainable for being like an entertainment hub anymore. So things are subject to change, and there are times where Seattle was where the best music was, or the Chicago scene is poppin', or Minneapolis, or and especially with technology, like you can kind of be anywhere.
Yeah.
And really,
I mean, in California, Sunset Strip, where Motley Crue, The Doors got their start. I mean, like it's pretty much burned down.
Yeah.
Sunset Boulevard's done.
It's so
yeah.
Really
New
sad.
York, tons of legendary artists have come out of there. I feel like it is like less considered a music hub these days, but like I mean, it's always going to be a culture hub.
Yeah. I agree with that. I feel like we should definitely start to see more music cities in the next 10 to 15 years, probably. Maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
Out of Texas.
Yeah.
Austin.
Austin.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, that's
It's
live
great.
music capital of the world, United States.
United States.
Yeah.
in the U.S., yeah.
Probably not the world.
I mean,
Probably not the world.
or if we take, a crazy turn into a fascist regime, London's a great option.
Yeah.
Guys.
We got to look at Vancouver. Let's look at the music industry there, huh?
Yeah.
It's actually great. It is
Actually?
actually great. Yeah.
Oh, I was just
making a joke,
Network
yeah.
Music Group is based out of Vancouver, and they sign completely like right up your alley. I mean, absolutely. I mean, there are so many alternatives other than the United States where a musician can do amazing.
Yeah.
I would argue better in Europe. I would argue you can have a better career as a musician there
Might be a more open market too.
because people want to hear rock over there.
Yeah.
They live to hear rock over there. Are y'all familiar with Rival Sons?
Yeah.
They stopped touring in the U.S. or not as
Really?
often, and they only strictly tour in Europe.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that I've been looking into and
yeah.
exploring. I mean, because it's become a reality now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The U.S. doesn't treat rock and roll the way it used to.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, and a lot of like bigger rock acts that have even gotten popular in the States have like not been American. Of course, there are American artists, like, I'm not, but I mean, like there was the band like Måneskin out of Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw last weekend the band Molchat Doma they're from Belarus.
Right.
All of their songs are in Russian.
That's
so
fire.
I understood
pretty
maybe
cool,
like
actually.
3 lines individually of what they were saying, but I had like the time of my life, and it was awesome.
I mean, I feel like most recently, the youngest group that we've seen really become mainstream in rock is probably Greta Van Fleet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Greta Van Fleet, a lot of musicians have a lot to say about them because they essentially did the Led Zeppelin thing,
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. I love Led Zeppelin, but it's not something that was new,
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
something
for
that we
sure.
hadn't seen in a while. So that's why I think
There was a market.
it
open
hit
for
so
it
well.
because-
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I feel like they took advantage of that quickly, and then it went away, you know, and then they've still been able to profit off that time where they were able to get in and become popular.
Yeah, I really like some of the stuff off their second album. I think they like kind of went away
They went into
from
their own thing.
yeah, and they do.
What is
have
that?
a
Before
really
the
good-
Fire, or is that their first album?
I'm
one with,
so
like,
bad
the
with like the names.
organs.
Has
It's-
Light My Love on
Yes,
it.
yes.
Oh,
I know
but
exactly
Battle like Garden Skate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's a good one.
I really like that song.
So, going back to your hometowns, because that's just been mentioned throughout the episode, were there any local bands or artists from your hometowns that inspired you early on?
Shoot.
The local acts in my hometown.
In my hometown.
Well, that answers my question.
No.
I have one like near my hometown. It's about 3 hours away from me. They're a band that, if I'm not wrong, kind of originated out of San Luis Obispo. I've really just taken a step back to go and like look at their music again, but they're called Juniper Honey.
You showed me them.
Yeah, I showed you, and they're really cool.
I like their stuff.
Yeah, my brother introduced me to them 2 years ago when he was going to college with some of the guys who were in the band. And it was really interesting to see because they're very, very indie rock. Almost like a almost pop punk, probably more similar to like modern baseball more than anything, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they're really cool. I really like a lot of their music. I've just been doing a deep dive of it the past week and a half.
That's awesome.
I got
Wow.
reminded of it. Yeah,
They're
really cool.
doing well as well.
They're doing pretty good. They have I want to say a couple thousand monthly listeners, like 8,000.
All right.
Yeah,
Hey.
they're doing really solid. Yeah.
Sorry, repeat the question again.
Yeah. In your hometown, were there any local acts that inspired you early on?
Yes.
Backseat
So,
Lovers.
I mean, the Backseat Lovers aren't a local act, but I would say like, for me, like I think growing up, like as I was kind of going towards the end of high school, I would go to the University of Houston like scene, and I would see all the bands that were playing there, and like seeing like like college bands or like high school bands like kind of influenced me of like, oh, like I can do this thing, like, and like there's still like a space or a community specifically with like I think like the punk scene is like I feel like you can just like always find like a group of like punk weirdos, like just like in any city. And like I think it's really awesome that like there's always just a community there, and like it's like I think initially like when I was in Houston, like I was like, oh, like I don't feel like there's like anything for me, and then you can always just kind of like take the time to look and you can see what people are doing. And like I will tell you, I've had so much fun going to like house shows and like bands just playing out of their garage. And then I met one girl who was like ended up being like the like guitarist for like this other like pretty like decently sized act in Houston that like got Madeline the Person, and like that was super cool to see. And I was like, damn, this is awesome.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. I guess to close off, I have a few more questions for you guys, and I think they're fun, and I hope you guys enjoy them. But what's one thing about the kissing disease that fans might not know but should?
I mean, I have double jointed thumbs. That's pretty cool.
Do they like crack?
Probably not.
Oh,
I could hear
That was a worse sound than I imagined. Yeah, here, try.
that's very
Wait,
interesting.
let me check
But
that
try
out.
his because it's
Oh, yeah,
gonna
Spencer.
pull
Oh
up.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to pull your cord out.
One of them.
Does that sound bad? Oh, wow.
It's
Is this
great.
what you
Like,
guys
get
have been
close to
hearing
it,
the whole
yeah.
time?
Yeah.
I haven't been listening because
I can.
Oh.
Oh, that could have been really bad. I'm gonna
no,
move
there's
this
nothing
over
bad.
here. Okay.
So,
I'm gonna drink more of your crush.
one thing that people should know about us, what they don't know about us, is that we're all pretty nice guys. You just come hang out with us.
Hey, come to our shows, maybe.
Yeah, I like kind of going off of that, like I think are all quite shy people. And I mean, we were talking about this like before, like a lot of people have said that they thought I hated them. And that's not true. I'm not a hateful person, despite talking about working out of spite just like a few minutes ago. But I like, yeah, I think I don't know. We're shy, but like please come talk to us.
I feel like you couldn't even tell that y'all are shy when y'all get up on stage. If you're saying you're shy, then you all turn into different people for sure.
Yeah.
And that energy that y'all bring is hot, man.
I'm more comfortable on stage than I am like being a person in the world.
It's weirdly way less scary to be
Yeah.
on stage than it is to like talk to a person outside your dorm, you know?
Yeah.
It is so much more nerve-wracking.
It's just because you're like elevated like 3 feet from
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
like on the stage.
It's like the lights are bright. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
I just don't have to worry about anyone being there. Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? Any new music, shows, anything that you can tease for the listeners for the Talk NOLA?
Well,
We have so much in
Yeah.
the works.
There's so much like in
I feel
the
like we're
pipeline.
cooking so much.
Yeah. I feel like
Um,
we've been like definitely cooking like a big stew. And
Yeah.
it's like we've been throwing a bunch of like ingredients in, and now it's time we finally just like scoop it and put it in bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
we have our single with Wolf Moon
Yes.
that is coming out soon.
What's that called?
Bitter Water.
Bitter Water?
Yes.
Yes.
And that will be accompanied by a music video.
Yep.
And then leading into the summer, we will have an EP. And that's like kind of our first collection of all of our songs that we've been playing since we've started as a band.
Yeah.
So it feels like a very, it kind of the end of the first chapter of the Kissing Disease a little bit. I feel like it's going to be like a big moment.
Yeah.
Wow. So lastly, where can people find you, follow you, catch you at your next show? Where are you guys often playing?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to say at the end of every set. You can follow us on Instagram at the.kissing.disease.
Yeah.
Do we post on Instagram that often? No. Will we?
Yes.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're trying.
That's
we're
my
trying,
job.
We're trying so hard. And we're all really scared of social media and being perceived on it. So, and we have a show at the end of February at Saturn Bar. And then we also will have a show in March at Siberia. No, that's also at Saturn Bar now.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
And on Spotify, you can find us. We are The Kissing Disease. There's
The Kissing
another
Disease.
German band called
Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that on air.
Kissing Disease.
They're
And
not real.
we are
They're
the.
not real. We're
Stop.
the
We're
Kissing
not heard of.
Disease.
We are The Kissing Disease. There's a massive difference.
Right.
And you can
They could
listen
be
to
any
our
Kissing
first
Disease, but
song.
you know we're
The
the
Kissing Disease.
Well,
Our
y'all heard
first
it on the
song.
Talk NOLA. The Kissing Disease, thank you so much for coming on. Maddie, Spencer, Dylan, Eddie, you guys have been great, phenomenal guests. To the listeners, please go stream Dead Lover right now. And have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.